afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam. I'm Rajaul Huda from Advocacy solicitors. My submission in this afternoon for an unconditional bail for my client, Mr. Nigel Gaston. He was charged on suspicion of burglary offense on 25th September 2012 for the incident actually occurred at the studio, the mall, High Road, Newham, N17 on 20 September 2012 between 9 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Madam, the studio owner, Mr. Paul Bailey, ensured that the stolen property was a Bronica SQX camera, which is worth £2,000. Mr. Paul stated that he opened up the shop at 8:30 a.m. on 20 September 2012, who checked over the camera and set it up ready for the afternoon shift. At 9 a.m., he left the shop by handing the charge over to his shop assistant, Miss Jennifer Mars. Madam, Miss Jennifer witnessed in her statement that she was at the reception desk during the incident where there were all displays of their work on the walls. Madam, defendant's defense is contained in Miss Jennifer's statement, as she stated that the end of the corridor was closed but not locked at the time of stealing the camera.
But
Madam.
she says he's the only person that she sees go into the recess area, doesn't she?
Yeah, she was the only one.
No, she says he is the only person.
Here was another person to whom she was serving, and the shop owner left the property at around 9 a.m. after handing the charge over to her, and she was the assistant of the shop.
But she says Mr. Gaston is the only person she saw go into the recess area.
Yeah, she suspected actually because my client just, he was a bit rude as soon as he found Miss Jennifer was still serving to the person he saw before, and he was rude because he felt unimpressed really.
Okay.
And madam, Miss Jennifer is the main prosecution witness who described a detailed about the only suspect who came in the shop at 12 noon and looked at the pictures on the wall. Madam, Miss Jennifer's statement and description fits my client, but there were other customers too in the morning hours, which she explicitly acknowledged. Madam, my client, Mr. Nigel Gaston, spontaneously expressed that he went at the recess of the shop at 12:30 p.m. in order to find out the price. When Miss Jennifer was serving another customer, madam, my client, Mr. Nigel Gaston, is proudly acknowledged to PC Lee Pullen at the time of his arrest on 25th September that he was at the back of the shop but took nothing.
So he accepts he was in the shop?
Yeah, he didn't take anything. Madam, my client added that the door of the corridor was open and he remembered that a tripod was there during his quick glance. Madam, my client couldn't remember about the stated camera, whether it was there or not. My defendant's defense is also contained in Jennifer's statement. She stated that my client was rude with her at the time of leaving the shop, what I mentioned to you before.
Well, she says actually he was aggressive.
Yes.
And she's in fear.
Actually, he felt unimpressed because he wanted to ask about some prices, but he found that person before her and she was serving the person. That's why she asked something to help, but he said something no, because the sound was a bit rude. Madam, my defendant's defense is also contained in Miss Jennifer's statement. And as I said sometime before, this may be a potential reason why Miss Jennifer suspected my client, but the reality is totally different, as my client felt unimpressed soon after he found Miss Jennifer was serving the client on 20 September 2012, madam. Police arrived at about 3 p.m. They then showed Miss Jennifer the pictures which they were taken via security video camera around the area at the time of the offense. She then pointed out my client on the video as the only suspect. Relying on her statement, police arrested my client at 8:55 a.m. on 25th September, and the custody sergeant at the police station then charged my client with burglary offense, who refused bail. I then met my client at the police station, who instructed me to apply for his bail. I then prepared the proof of evidence as his instructions.
I don't need to know that, do I? This is a bail application. Can you please get on with your bail application?
Yes, definitely, madam. Madam, my client has been charged with burglary offense under section.
Yes, I know that.
Well, madam, on behalf of my client, I would like to rely on section 4 of the Bail Act 1976, which provides a general right to bail of accused persons and others. A number of concerns stated by the prosecutor that you may have about whether my client will fail to appear at the court, interfere with the main prosecution witness, Ms. Jennifer, or commit further offences whilst on bail, can be more than adequately dealt with by granting him bail with conditions. Madam, my client was silent during the interview made by the police, as he was reliant on my legal representation. The prosecution's objection in terms of my client's failing to attend the court if granted bail, I do not find any reason at all to be objected, as he has been living with his elderly mother, who suffers from emphysema.
The prosecution say he's of no fixed abode though, don't they?
The prosecution, sorry ma'am?
Say he is of no fixed abode.
Yeah, he doesn't have, but he is living with his mother.
And where is that?
That is near the mall. That is.
Have you got the address?
Yes, please. The address is, ma'am, 13A Woodwork Road, Tottenham, London, N17.
Thank you.
And madam, the prosecution objection in terms of my client's failing to attend the court if granted bail, I do not see any reason why he objected my client's bail, as her mother, as I said sometimes before, his mother has been suffering from emphysema, and she also expects care from him. Besides, my client was addicted to heroin before, who also had drug-related some offences. But he came out of the prison completely clean of drugs.
And how did he manage that?
Because he was committed when he was in the prison last time. And madam, my client has been voluntarily attending a drug counselor once a month since his last release on 23rd June 2012. The prosecutor also mentioned a bail act offence record on his previous convictions, which was also drug related. As I said before, madam, he was badly drug addicted then, for which he completely forgot about the missing date until it was too late. I noticed the record on 11th October 2006 that a fine was imposed for his mistake, which was clearly indicated that it was not a serious example for failing to surrender. I would therefore urge you, madam, not to give any heavy weight to the prosecution's objection to bail on this point. Madam, the prosecution raised the issue that my client may commit further offences if granted bail. The prosecutor may speculate it easily to notice my client's previous convictions, but the reality, madam, is totally different, as all his past convictions were either on theft, burglary, or drug-related offences. His all first intentions within those offences were merely drug uses. And my client has now been committed to be in good progress when the drug counselor at Tottenham Health Advisory Unit, Miss Sarah O'Mary, would prepare a report for him confirming that he is not taking drugs at the moment. I directly defend the prosecutor's objection in terms of interfering with the main prosecution witness Miss Jennifer Marks. If Mr. Nigel Gaston is granted bail, Miss Jennifer may adopt it in her mind as my client was a little bit rude at the time of departure from the shop. I clearly mentioned the reason, madam, once before, why he behaved with her like this. I repeat you, madam, there should not have any further suspicion about my client anymore. Madam, I do not deem that the prosecution have established substantial grounds for believing that Mr. Nigel Gaston would obstruct the course of justice. This is because my client is currently receiving job seekers allowance and has been looking for work. In spite of these points, if you should have any concern with regard to the factors addressed by the prosecution, I would submit that any such concern may be imposed conditionally. For example, to report to the police station on a regular basis, or suit in terms of failing to appear. Finally, madam, I submit that the prosecution has clearly failed to establish substantial grounds for believing.
So is reporting the only condition you're offering the court today?
Yes.
Perhaps I
But-
can assist. I do have concerns that your client will commit further offences and interfere with the prosecution witnesses as well.
If you have any concern like this, madam, you can consider a conditional bail instead of an
So
unconditional.
what do you suggest? What condition?
There are a condition I mentioned sometimes before, which is to be put to the police station or surety in terms of failing to appear.
Surety.
Yeah, surety.
Has your client got a surety to offer this court today?
It has not been made yet, but if you allow us, I could.
If I admit your client to bail with a condition of surety and you haven't got a surety, he will not be released, will he?
Yes, it is up to you, madam, if you allow me.
Okay. Do you have any other conditions you wish
Yes.
to put to the court?
Yes, madam. I think the prosecution has also failed to establish substantial grounds for believing.
You already said that.
Yeah,
Can you
that
listen
is-
to my question? Do you have any other conditions you want to put to the court?
Yeah, the condition may be imposed as a last resort, which is, a curfew. As a condition may be imposed, whether either residential or non-residential, not to enter, other than any purposes of his own work or employment. A condition may be imposed as non-association for which Mr. Nigel should not contact with specific persons.
Okay. Can I stop you there then, please?
Yeah, thank you, madam.
You.